In 1907, Harry Allen, a visionary businessman and founder of the taxicab company of New York, purchased nothing less but 600 French gas taxis. He was the one who popularized the term taxicab, which led millions of people to become entrepreneurs known as taxi drivers. Today, Uber has largely replaced the traditional taxi concept, attracting many independent entrepreneurs to become Uber drivers. The question that arises is, how long will it be before both taxi and Uber drivers become obsolete? And when will we see innovations like Google's self-driving vehicles, which don't require a human driver, replace both Uber drivers and taxi drivers? These examples illustrate why more and more people are choosing to be entrepreneurs. Technology and global competition are making traditional professions obsolete. The concept of a well-paid, secure job for life is now obsolete and belongs to bygone eras. Today, more and more people are discovering that being an entrepreneur can offer greater relative security than being an employee. Andy Grove, one of the founders and former CEO of Intel Corporation, is remembered for his famous quote, "Only the paranoid survive." In the industrial age, entrepreneurs were known for creating jobs and establishing thriving businesses. However, in the information age, entrepreneurs are known for transforming industries and often disrupting established jobs and business models. Take the example of the book industry. When Rich Dad, Poor Dad was first published in 1997, physical bookstores were at their peak. Then Amazon arrived and many of these traditional bookstores disappeared. Recently, while I was on the street, someone approached me and asked, "Hey, do you remember me?" When he saw that I didn't remember him, he explained to me that he was the manager of one of these traditional bookstores near my house that I used to go to. This conversation saddened me deeply. Despite my gratitude for his support, his story reflected well the rapid evolution of the market. As we talked about old times, Andy Grove's phrase echoed in my head, "Only the paranoid survive." Today, entrepreneurs not only create jobs, they are also challenging and transforming entire industries. The problem is that our schools are still largely focused on preparing students for employment in search of job security, rather than cultivating entrepreneurial mindsets in search of financial independence. It is encouraging to see some schools starting to offer entrepreneurship courses. However, learning to be an entrepreneur cannot be achieved simply in a classroom. It's like trying to learn surfing or golf by reading a book. You really need to experience the feeling of facing challenges and competition in the real world to truly understand what it means to be an entrepreneur. In simple terms, employees perceive the world from the perspective of an employee, while entrepreneurs see it through a different lens. Kiyosaki focuses on adopting the business mindset to truly understand how the world works from that perspective. One of your favorite Steve Jobs quotes is a powerful idea worth remembering. You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. You have to trust in something, your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. This approach has never let me down, and it has made all the difference in my life. Most people fail to become entrepreneurs because they were educated in schools that taught them to navigate life by constantly looking in the rearview mirror. True entrepreneurs have the ability to glimpse the future. While a college education is important, there is no better teacher than experience gained in the real world of business. One of the problems with traditional education is that many schools still consider making mistakes to be a negative thing. In traditional educational settings, teachers often punish students for making mistakes, leading to the idea that the student with the fewest mistakes is the smartest. However, in the world of real entrepreneurship, the entrepreneur who makes the most mistakes and learns from them is the one who succeeds. For example, Thomas Edison experienced more than 10,000 failures before inventing the light bulb. Although, as he said, he wasn't failing, he simply discovered 10,000 ways a light bulb couldn't work until he found the right one. Another example is Henry Ford, who declared bankruptcy 5 times before Ford Motor Company achieved success, becoming one of the largest automobile manufacturers in the world. We continue with Steve Jobs, who was fired from his own company, Apple, before returning and rescuing it from bankruptcy. Today, Apple is one of the most valuable companies in the world. Bill Gates, the creator of Microsoft, also faced accusations from the US government for monopolistic practices and emerged victorious. Another case is Mark Zuckerberg. He was sued by the Winklevoss twins, who claim to have created Facebook. I mention the trials and tribulations of these great entrepreneurs because although they are the best known, they are common experiences in the business world. These experiences can provide crucial lessons that determine the future of a business, as long as we seek to learn from each mistake or failure. In this channel, you will discover what aspects are important, what is really valuable, and what you need to learn to become a successful entrepreneur. And most crucially, you'll learn that having a great idea is just the beginning of the path to business success. On the other hand, for any successful entrepreneur, the ability to recruit and form a good team is, after sales skills, essential to give life and success to an idea or dream. Why is it so critical? Simply because you have limited resources of time, energy, and skills to do it all yourself. You need a team capable of delivering on the promises you make to an eager public. But beyond that, there is a synergistic magic that occurs in exceptional teams when they exceed expectations and produce results that go beyond expectations time and time again. Dr. Buckminster Fuller described synergy as the ability of entire systems to be more than the sum of their parts would envision. Before continuing, if you find this information useful, I encourage you to leave a like and subscribe so you can continue enjoying more content like this. Let's move forward. Building a strong business team is not a matter of luck, nor does it simply come down to finding the perfect combination of talent and personal chemistry. Herb Brooks, the legendary coach of the 1980 Olympic hockey team, told his young players that they didn't have enough individual talent to win based on that alone. Despite this, they managed to beat the best teams in the world that same year. In all cases, the fundamental principles for a team's success remain the same. This is something that can be achieved through inspiring leadership and concrete, defined steps. But are there opportunities to create new companies in this turbulent economy? Now is the ideal time. During difficult times is when genuine entrepreneurs emerge. Entrepreneurs do not care whether the market is up or down. They focus on developing superior products and processes. Therefore, when someone claims that there are fewer opportunities now, simply reveals their lack of vision and determination. For example, Microsoft and Disney were both launched during a recession. In fact, most of the companies that make up the Dow Jones, the largest industrial companies in the United States, began their careers during a recession. Paul Zane-Pilzer, an economist who was the youngest vice president of Citibank, left the banking world to start his own businesses and become a millionaire. Pilzer maintains that previously, the idea of starting out on your own was considered risky, perhaps admirable but risky, and maybe a little crazy. However, today, the situation is completely different. The really risky thing is working for others, he says. Most of us have been influenced from an early age to view working as an employee as normal. However, this concept of being an employee is actually quite recent and comes from the industrial age. During the agrarian age, most people were small businessmen. Although they worked on the king's land as peasants, they were not the king's employees. In fact, they paid taxes to the king for the right to use the land. Farmers were small businessmen who made a living for themselves. It was during the industrial age that a new demand arose, the need for employees. In response to this demand, governments took responsibility for mass education, adopting the Prussian system that still influences Western educational systems today. The Prussian educational system refers to the education system established in Russia as a result of the educational reforms of the late 18th century and early 19th century, which has had a wide influence since then. The methodology of this educational system is reflected in the organization of classes, the evaluation of students, and the rigidity of schedules, seeking to promote discipline and respect for the rules. In addition, it is characterized by having standardized grades, uniform content, division by age, and strict schedules. In summary, the Prussian model has the objective of forming responsible individuals who comply with established standards. That is, it was designed to mass-produce soldiers and employees, and the current system continues to take that educational philosophy to this day. Have you ever wondered where the idea of retiring at 65 comes from? It originated with Otto von Bismarck, the Chancellor of Prussia, in 1899. Actually, his initial plan was for age 70, not age 65, but that doesn't matter. At the time, the average life expectancy in Prussia was around 45 years, so promising a guaranteed pension after age 65 did not represent much of a financial risk for Bismarck's government. Today, With so many people living into their 80s and 90s, this same promise could strain government finances in the next generation, especially with the current generation of baby boomers retiring in the years to come. Therefore, you should not rely exclusively on leaving your retirement in the hands of the state. The reasons are several. First, state social security and pension systems can change over time due to economic and demographic pressures. As we have seen, the financial viability of these programs can be compromised by an aging population and a declining birth rate, leading to an imbalance between the number of contributors and the number of beneficiaries. This can result in benefit cuts, increases in the retirement age, or random rule changes that negatively affect future retirees. Furthermore, state pension systems are subject to political influence and may be subject to reform or adjustment due to changes in government policies or economic crises. Exclusive reliance on state pensions can leave retirees vulnerable to external decisions that are outside their control. For these reasons, it is essential to diversify your sources of retirement income and begin as soon as possible to consider alternatives such as investments in assets and businesses that provide greater autonomy and financial security in retirement. And that's it in today's video. Thank you very much for staying until the end. And you, are you thinking of starting some type of business? Tell me in the comments. If you like the video, please leave a like and subscribe to continue enjoying more content like this. Thank you for watching.